vulnerability is the secret. People are always looking for the secret sauce, the secret weapon, the secret strategy. I just had the most incredible conversation today with Tracy O'Malley. She's based in Arizona in the States. She works in addiction therapy. So she is a coach to people who struggle with addictive behaviors, addictive personalities, addictions per se, as we would all understand them. She's got a massive backstory, huge history, incredible woman, just got along so well. And the secret was our shared vulnerability. Now, unfortunately for you guys, some of what we shared with each other wasn't captured in the podcast. And I'm so disappointed about that because there was some real gold. We talked about the shared history that we have. We talked about, there were some spooky coincidences. Those of you who know my vulnerability story, being raised with a lot of rejection, being raised with, my parents doing their level best, but the way it came across to me, looking back on that, how strong I was as a kid to come through all that relatively unscathed. And so a little girl, me, is the picture I keep with me all the time. She's my inner superhero. She's the wallpaper on my phone. Guess what? Guess what's Tracy O'Malley's wallpaper on her phone? Her little girl self. We've all got these vulnerable little people living inside us. And when we tap into that, when we draw on the strength that we had as those vulnerable little people to just survive the stuff we survived, if we tap into that, that is the secret. That's the secret sauce, the secret weapon, the secret strategy. That is everything. When Brené Brown talks about dropping your shields and being vulnerable as a leader, as a business person, she's right on the money. It used to be believed that vulnerability was weakness, and with vulnerability came being a pushover, being a crybaby, being an oversharer. Nah, bullshit. Being vulnerable means drawing on that inner self, that inner pain place, because that's where you find your passion. Evan Carmichael talks about this. Your passion comes from your pain. And so if we can just drop the crap, drop the bullshit, drop the shields, and listen, man, our own vulnerable selves have some wise ass shit to be telling us. And yet we so often draw the shields up, draw the shutters up, push it to one side, put on our coping face and say, it's all right, I've dealt with that shit, I've moved on. Well, I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. You haven't, because that inner person is still in there, waiting to be listened to, waiting to be validated, waiting to be heard, because that's the wise self of experience. All the pain you've experienced, anything you've dealt with, has been survived by that inner vulnerable core. So, man, I'm just so grateful for the work that I do, the privilege that I have as a psychologist to work with the people I work with is such a privilege. As a mentor to business owners, the work that I do, the people I work with, the strength I witness in my clients, such a privilege. I hope that for you, my wish is that you find a way to tap into your vulnerable inner self, to listen with all your ears, as I would say to my kids, to pay open, vulnerable attention to that inner core, that inner wise, experienced you, because that's where your strength comes from. That's where your power comes from, not from the shields we all carry. We need to drop those. Have a fabulous day.